it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you our family's homeschool picks for the 2024-2025 school year. I have a second grader and a preschooler. So I'm going to kind of go through the curriculum that we are using with them, share with you a small homeschool supply haul, as well as kind of go over our general schedule and how we are going to be structuring our days. And then next week I'll be going into more detail about some of our group subjects and things that my girls will be doing together. So to start off with my second grader, she last year we used The Good and the Beautiful, and I really enjoyed it, and my daughter really enjoyed it as well. So we're going to be continuing with The Good and the Beautiful for both math and language arts. So this year for her curriculum, for the language arts and for the math, I was able to print it over the last year because we ended up getting a new printer that had free ink for a while. And so while we had free ink and a free subscription to the ink services, I just printed all of her curriculum for this year that she would need. And then I already had a binding machine, so I just had to buy some binding coils. So it was a very inexpensive way for this curriculum. I would not suggest doing it again that way because the printer that I had was just a basic HP printer, and it was a major pain to print that kind of volume. So if you are interested in printing the curriculum itself is free, the digital download of it. So you can print it on your own or send it to a printer as well. But I found that the price of sending it to a printer was pretty much the same price as just having it, buying the physical copy and sending it through the Good and the Beautiful website. So if I get a different kind of printer, I might try again to this, again, since I already have a binding machine and coils. Anyway, all that to say is the curriculum that I'm using looks a little bit different because it's not like the actual physical product that I bought from the website. It's just my home printed version. So with the math, I just printed each unit and I just bound them in units just because I thought that'd be easier for us to handle and deal with, and less likely if something were to happen, we would only be ruining one section, one unit worth of stuff instead of all of it at once. Again, it's super bright, super fun, and we just have really liked it. To go along with that, they have a Math 2 box. Now this I did purchase. This year they have new math boxes. It has all the same content in it, but the box itself isn't this traditional wood box that they've been having for the last couple of years since they've redone their math curriculum. But this I was able to buy secondhand from The Good and the Beautiful Facebook group where people sell their used curriculum that they don't need anymore. And so I was able to get this with shipping was less than purchasing it new from the Good and the Beautiful website. And it has all the pieces and is in really good shape. So that's what we have for math for my second grader. And then for language arts, we're also going to be using, again, The Good and the Beautiful. Again, I printed it and I've just bound it in the specific units. And similar to math, it's very bright, very colorful, and we just really enjoyed this program last year. So as part of the program with the language arts, before you start your daily lesson, you go through and you have your student practice some phonics skills in the kindergarten first and second levels. And so this is another, the booster cards is kind of like their phonics practice. This is a little bit shiny because I had laminated the cover of this one because this is something that I can reuse for my preschooler when she's in second grade. So I just decided to laminate the cover before I bound it because this also can be a free download from the Good and the Beautiful website. And it just has just these phonics practice sheets for them to practice their fluency. And then every few cards, they have some phonics readers that they want your student to read. So these are the two for second grade. There's Molly and the Falcon and Wesley and the Wolves. And these are chapter books. And so after they've passed off a few of the reading booster cards, it'll tell you on the cards how much to read and from what. In the first grade, they were just small phonics books that were just each book was a separate book. So these I also got secondhand. I found them, somebody was selling them on Facebook for $5 a piece. brand new from the website, they would be $24 for the both packs for both of them together. So that was another significant savings for us this year. And then that same lady who was selling that was also selling the third nature reader. This is just a supplemental book. I didn't buy the second nature reader that goes with the first grade curriculum as a supplement. I didn't purchase that last year just because I wanted to kind of just do the basics and see kind of how we liked it and what we liked about The Good and Beautiful. So this has just a bunch of different stories in it. It's just like an anthology of a bunch of different stories, and each story goes over a different like phonics principle that they are working with. So this aligns with what they're doing in their booster cards and in their readers, as well as what they're learning in their actual lessons. So I got this. My daughter's super into nature, so she's very excited to be reading this as well. And again, this was from the same lady, so this also was only $5. And new from the website, I think it's around $13. It's a nice hardback, and all of them come with these little ribbons to help mark your place. So I definitely will keep looking. I'm pretty sure we're going to be liking this as just an extra supplement for reading. And I'll keep my eye out on other secondhand groups to see if I can get the first and the second nature readers as well for the kindergarten and the first grade curriculum for when my younger daughter reaches those ages. And then in addition with language arts, we're also going to be doing The Good and the Beautiful handwriting. This is the level 1 that my daughter started in first grade. She didn't finish it. She has, I don't know, maybe a quarter of it left, just because it wasn't something that we did every single day. So she's going to start out the year by finishing this. And then once she's finished with it, then I will get the level 2 handwriting, and she will start on that. I just haven't ordered it yet because we don't need it. Okay, and then something that we will be working on, probably not until like the second semester, is typing. Like I said, my daughter will be in second grade. She turns 7 this fall. So she's kind of right at the beginning of where she probably could start learning how to type. I just kind of wanted to get our school year going, kind of see what our course load is like, and see if she's interested in, currently she's interested in starting this, but we'll see once we actually start school if she feels like she has time or wants to pursue this. So again, I found this secondhand, just $5 for this first course. This typing one, like the first book of it. So again, it wasn't very much. And I thought it would just be a good thing to have in case she wants to start it now. If we don't do it this year, then we'll for sure start it next year when she does third grade. Okay, and then for my preschooler, she just turned 3 this summer. We're gonna be using the Busy Toddlers Playing Preschool again. We started this last year. We only got about halfway through, maybe a little bit less than halfway through, because we only did school. I only did school with my preschooler like 2 days a week, or like fully did like the preschool curriculum 2 days a week. And so it just took us longer to get through, which is totally fine. This year I'm hoping to bump that up to 3 or 4 days a week with her, and just kind of get a little bit more not intense, but a little bit more focused on doing the curriculum, following through on it, and giving my preschooler just as much like attention, I guess, and individualized focus as I'm going to be giving my second grader. So we're gonna work on this. If we finish it, I also have the second volume, the Playing Preschool Year 2. So if we finish this one this year, then we will start on the second one as well. And then kind of at the end of the school year, we'll adjust and see how much of the second one we've started, how much of it we have left, and decide if I want to finish doing that or if we're going to switch over to the Good and the Beautiful preschool. My guess is I probably will keep with it and keep doing Year 2, and then the following year start on the kindergarten Good and the Beautiful with my youngest. So this is kind of just like an all-in-one curriculum. It always has a story every day with some questions to ask. They're split up into units that take 2 weeks to do, or 10 like school days, 10 learning days. And so every day there's a book to read, questions to ask about it. There's a like review of letters that you've been working on. And there are usually there's 2 activities. One is like, here's the activity you should do, as well as a second activity that's like an extra activity or an extension activity that you don't like have to do, but they're generally still fairly easy to set up and have your student do as well. It also goes through and has like a whole like calendar routine that you do at the beginning, which I will talk more about that next week in our kind of like whole group subjects and what that's going to look like. And then the last couple things with my second grader that we're going to be doing is she is very interested in science and in nature. And so we're going to be adding science in as a separate subject this year. Last year, we pretty much, if there was any kind of science topic within the Good and the Beautiful, we just kind of counted that. And then we also every day read from some sciencey like animal books as part of our morning basket time, which again, I'll talk more about that next week. And I just kind of counted that as our science. But since she is so interested in science, specifically in nature, I did get also secondhand from the Good and the Beautiful their Fields and Flowers. This is a science curriculum for kindergarten through second grade. And if you do it once a week, it should last you for a whole school year. If you do it twice a week, then it should last you for a semester. So we're going to start out just doing this once a week. If she really likes it, then we might bump it up to twice a week. But right now, my plan is just to go through it once a week, and there's just lessons. It's not necessarily in order. You can kind of pick and choose based on your child's interests, or you can go through it sequentially. So it comes with a parent guide, and then also comes with a book that has stories in it. Again, kind of like an anthology. It has just a bunch of different stories that kind of go along with the different topics. And then there's, some activities to do, and it should be really fun. And this is something I'm planning on doing mainly with my second grader. If my preschooler wants to join us and follow along, then she is more than welcome to. The activities in here will be doable for her, probably with some parent support, but for the most part, she should be able to follow right along with the activities in here. I also bought this secondhand as well. And I got this and a second science set for the same price as just purchasing this from the website as well. So if we do end up doing that 2 days a week and we want to continue with some more science, I have also the Wind and Waves science unit, again, for the kindergarten through second grade. If not, we'll do this next year. Even though my oldest will be in third grade, I still think this will have lots of good activities. And this will just be the unit that we work on the next school year if we don't get to it this year. And that's totally fine. And then also for my second grader, currently my plan is possibly to add in a little bit of history because she is starting to get interested in it a little bit. So my plan with her for that is we're just going to work our way through the American Girl series. Those were some of my favorite books when I was in first and second grade, and I love them so much. And they have very historically accurate content in them. And so my plan with history is just going to be super laid back, and we'll just read 1 or 2 chapters. This will help my daughter practice her reading as well as her comprehension, and then we can talk about kind of each chapter and what's happened. I also at the end of each book, it goes through and lists and talks about the actual history of that time, not just showing you the story of the girls. So we'll probably start with Kaya, however you say it, which is the Native American girl, and it starts pre-Revolutionary War. So we'll start with that, and then we'll move to Felicity, which is Revolutionary War. Then we'll continue on our way and see how far we get. Again, I'm not planning on doing a ton of extra with that. Lucy has read a few of the books before, mostly the Kirsten ones, because that was my favorite and that was my doll. And so we've kind of read a couple of those books, but she hasn't really read or listened to any of the other ones. So we're going to kind of work on that as our history, and that should only take maybe 10 minutes a day. So it shouldn't be too much of a time commitment for that, just to kind of introduce her to different time periods and kind of where they fall in history. So for our schedule for this year, we're going to kind of do a very similar schedule to what we ended up doing last year. And I have 2 days a week where I do what I call full school, where I'm doing all of the things, all of the subjects for both my second grader and for my preschooler. Those are just days where we don't have any other activities or other things going on. We school 4 days a week. And then if we need to, we have a catch-up day. And we also have a day that's a field trip outing kind of day. So my husband doesn't work on Mondays. And so Mondays are kind of our field trip day. So if there's a museum we want to go to, or an activity we want to go do, or a hike or something like that, we will do that on Monday. Either we'll go as a family, or my husband will take my kids, we'll take the girls to go do that. And then Tuesday is going to be one of our full days. We don't have any outside commitments that day. So that will look like having our calendar time together. having my second grader work on her independent work. I will start preschool with my preschooler. And then I will kind of bounce back. I usually try to bounce back and forth, where my second grader will be doing some of her independent work when she finishes. And when I'm done doing part of my preschooler's lesson, I'll bounce back to the second grader, do like her math with her. And then when she's on her independent part of her math, then I'll bounce back to my preschooler, do the next activity. When I'm done with that, bounce back to my second grader, do the main language arts lesson with her and some of the reading. And then when she gets started on her independent practice, then bounce back to the preschooler and kind of finish up anything that we might need to. So that's kind of how we went and worked on it last year. So that's kind of what we'll continue to do. This year we're going to do calendar, our coursework, and then after our coursework, then we will do our morning basket and kind of like our group subjects together. So on Tuesdays, we're going to be doing science. So we'll do that part together after we do the science lesson. Then we'll go into our morning basket and do the looped things that we have in there. And again, I'll go into my morning basket next week and kind of what that is going to look like and a little bit more in detail on what our group subjects are going to look like. On Thursday, our group subject will be art for now. And I'm just planning on doing like a very basic like art project or craft or doing some directed drawings or something like that, just because both of my girls do really enjoy art and crafting. So we'll work on that on Thursdays as kind of like our group extra subject. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are kind of like our full days where everybody does all of their school. On Wednesdays, my husband goes into work a little bit later, and there is a class at our local library that my girls like to go to. And so because he goes into work later, Wednesday mornings are usually my time to work on YouTube or to run errands or to do things that are just easier to do without kids. And so my husband takes them in the morning, does breakfast with them. During the school year, he will do the basic subjects with my second grader. So he'll do the math and the language arts and hopefully the handwriting this year. He'll work on that with her while my preschooler just kind of plays and does whatever. Then they will go to their class at the library. And then when they get home, my husband gets ready to go to work. And so after they get home, my plan is to, during that time, do the preschool with my preschooler, just to try and get an extra day of content in for her, just so that she can get a little bit more of that one-on-one attention, because her lessons don't take very long. There will be plenty of time for us to finish that before we go to lunch. And then on Fridays, not starting right away, but partway through the first semester, my second grader will be starting a homeschool PE class that meets on Friday mornings. And so on Friday mornings, I usually do her full school, where I try and get her main subjects done before we leave for the PE class. After the PE class, since it's in kind of like the bigger town that's next door to us, after that we usually like run our errands for the week. So any grocery shopping, any returns, any of those kinds of things we do that morning after PE. And then we come home for lunch and then do like quiet time and stuff like that after. So on that day, I won't be doing preschool with my youngest, most likely, because I want to be focused on getting my second graders' work done before we go to the PE class. And then on Saturdays, we just have a catch-up day. My husband works that day, and so it's just kind of like a regular school day week for us. So that day, I'm planning on having it just kind of be more of like a fun day, where we'll do our morning basket that day, which my kids love anyways. So we'll do the morning basket. We will do some games, some either like educational games or just regular games too, because there's lots that you can be learning from that. And I want to kind of start introducing more games to my kids and getting them to learn how to practice and how to be good winners and good losers. So we'll be doing that. And then also on Saturdays, I want to start teaching my second grader some basic sewing skills. That's something that she has shown some interest in. And so I think that'd be a fun thing to do on that day as well. It's just kind of like a fun school day that we have. And then, like I mentioned before, if we need to catch up on any work, we will take the Saturday to catch up on that. The only other things that we will also be including in our homeschool is my second grader is learning piano. I teach her. And so that will be a part of her school day. Usually we work on that when my youngest is going down for her nap or for quiet time. Then that's just kind of all of the things that we have planned for this year. If there's things that I come across that I want to add in, I definitely will. If there's things we need to drop, I'll do that as well. And kind of throughout the year, I'll post just some updates on how our schooling is going, what we're liking, what we're changing. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel so that you can get updates when I upload new videos. So that's pretty much all I have for our homeschool stuff. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them down in the comments below, and I'll take you over and show you just our very small school supply haul. Okay, so we already have quite a few things on hand and didn't need too much more, like in terms of new supplies. We were getting a little bit low on notebooks, so I got, let's see, it looks like 6. These are all from Staples. They were 35 or 45 cents. I think they were 35 cents, which was the best price on notebooks in my area. We just like to have these for journals. I like to have a blank notebook just to write random things and notes, and they're just always good to have. And then I grabbed a few more just plastic folders. Again, I don't have any specific plans for them, but we didn't really have any. We might have 1 or 2, and I like to use them for various things at various times, so I just grabbed a few more. These also were from Staples. I think they were like 49 cents each. And then the rest of these I just picked up in my Walmart haul. So I got a couple, like a 2-pack of glue sticks. We have plenty, but it's always nice. I needed like 25 cents more of stuff to get the free pickup order on my Walmart order. So those are 25 cents for the 2. So I just grabbed those. Not the highest quality, but with my girls leaving lids off of things, these will be ones that they have kind of like in their art area. And then I will keep some of like the better glue sticks for when we're doing actual projects together, that I'll just pull out for those. Same with the school glue. I had like 1.5 bottles, but I just grabbed 2 more just to have on hand in case we needed them. We have plenty of pencils, but some of the erasers are going away and we don't have any of the eraser part left on some of our pencils. So I just got 2 of the big pink erasers, mostly for my 2nd grader for when she's writing. And then I also got a pack of the cap erasers for like the smaller pencils. I prefer that my kids use like the bigger, like the My First Ticonderoga pencils, just because that helps with their developing their pencil grip. But if they want to do any other kind of writing or drawing just with regular pencils, that's totally fine too. So I got these cap erasers for those kinds of pencils. We had a few sets of crayons, but I got 4 more boxes, again, just to have on hand. Last year, my daughter was my 1st grader, now 2nd grader, was able to keep just 1 box of crayons and was able to use it the entire year. But I'm not quite sure about my preschooler, if she's going to want these kinds of crayons or if she's going to be fine with kind of her like smaller, more preschooler babyish crayons. So I just grabbed a few. They're always good to have on hand, and this is the time of year to buy them because they are very cheap. These are 50 cents a piece. And then I got just 2 basic manual pencil sharpeners. These are going to go with some nature kits that I'm going to be making for my kids. Oh, I don't have them here, but I got 2 sets of just the Mondo Llama colored pencils from Target because they were super cheap. And these are probably going to be things that get lost or destroyed or something. So I didn't need to spend the extra money on like the Crayola brand. Anyways, so for some nature kits I'm going to be making for my girls, I have those colored pencils, and then these sharpeners are going to go in with them. And then I just needed a few more Sharpies, black Sharpies, so I just got a 2-pack of those. And then the last thing that I got was just a new teacher planner. This is one that I just got from Amazon. I will link it below for you. And then I also just bought these tabs just online. And so those, just a tab to make it easier to find the monthly spread. So here I do a song that we're learning or focusing on each week from our church hymns. And then if whatever's going on in the month, I'll write down here just to kind of keep track of what's going on. And then in the weekly spreads, it has all of the days over here. And then across the top is where you can put your subjects. So usually this side of the page, I write down what we're doing for my oldest. So I'll have like language arts here, math, and then handwriting. I probably will switch it up a little bit and do language arts here, which will include handwriting, have a column for math, have a column for science and for social studies. Then this column I usually do for like our out of the house activities. So if we have a play date, if we have a play group, if we're going to the museum or something like that, I'll write that down here. And then this section is for my youngest. I usually write down the book that we're studying that day for her preschool. I'll write down what the first activity is, what the second activity is. And then this last column I just leave for any notes. If there's something I need to like prepare for the next day or something that we didn't get to or something like that, I put that there. And then if we have anything going on during the day that might like disrupt our regular school flow. So like if we have like a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment or something like that, I'll write that in here just so that I'm aware of that when I'm planning out our school. And then kind of every Friday after I've gone through, I check to see what we've done and then I plan out the next week. to show that we've done something. I write down what we're planning on doing, and then to show that we've done it, I just use a highlighter and highlight the things that we've done and then adjust things as we need to. So if you're interested in seeing kind of my homeschool planner setup and what it actually looks like once we've started school, leave me a comment down below, and I'm happy to make a video like that if you are interested. This is the second year that I've had a planner from this company, and I just really like the layout. I also used these when I was a public school teacher, and they just worked really well. So that's all I have for this week with our homeschool picks, what our homeschool schedule is going to look like, as well as our little school supply haul. If you like this content, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week with more homeschooling content. Bye.